forget a girlfriend. I'll catch one instead.
Heather Blossom, or Bayleef Blossom, the grass-type analyst. This analyst enjoys video games, Netflix and chill, and bronies.
And...
Relationship status, single.
Woohoo! This one is mine!
Ah! Why?
She's resisting! I need to act fast! Go get her, flightless! But be gentle now.
Gotta go.
Don't let her escape!
My loyal subjects, Heather Blossom here with my new trainer, Unova Brony.
Good days, ladies and gentlecolds. I'm Unova, and looks like I'm going to be here for a while for girlfriend's sake.
You mean your girlfriend?
Nope. Girlfriend seemed to be the perfect name for this fine female specimen.
You nicknamed me that for real, and I will poison powder you in your sleep.
Note to self, find name raider and change name stat. Also, glue Pokeballs shut at night.
Anyway, no doubt many of you are lonesome this time of year, either without a date or stuck with one. So I've brought it upon myself to review something that goes to show you're not alone in romantic rejection. I give you Odd Pokemon Out, an episode from Pokemon the Ruby and Sapphire series that featured and ruined my favorite grass Pokemon of all time, Grovyle.
What happens? Grovyle gets the hots for a Meganium. It doesn't work out. Here's Subtile!
This episode brought up a lot of questions to me on my first viewing and some still after regarding Pokemon evolution and the evolution of the heart. For one, I figured evolution was triggered by a more beneficial development, but here I was stumped. Certainly Grovyle did learn a hard lesson in love, but I wasn't convinced this was what triggered it. In fact, upon inspection, the whole process looks like it could have been forced.
Forced? I see. So it wasn't his time, but he felt needed to do something to get over that pent-up frustration of not even being considered a candidate or even exist in Meganium's world of view.
More or less. I think that's how most people would actually deal with this sort of stress. Rejected, humiliated, you'd either want to disappear or grow past it as soon as possible, and Grovyle, being the fighter he is, would choose the latter.
Here's an interesting factoid. Did you know Grovyle, Tropius, and Meganium are all in the same monster egg group? Meganium and Tropius apparently are also in the grass egg group, so all romance shown in this episode are supported by the games.
Fascinating. Speaking of the technicalities of this episode, I suppose we should zone in on some more fundamental elements like the voice acting.
Yeah, one key point in the English dub I wanted to discuss was the shift in voice talent after the end of the Advanced Battle season. It was Season 9 when the dubbing rights went from 4Kids to the TAJ Productions following the loss of their distribution and dubbing rights. Sarah Natocini was just getting started in her new role as Ash, and it shows with the less than stellar energy she is putting into emoting her character during these scenes.
And here I thought Ash was just jaded after being 10 years old for nearly a decade at this point.
The main character in this scenario of not knowing where one of their recovering Pokemon would be, a bit more high-strung for a missing party member. But when Ash arrives to the scene, he says his line very low and bored sounding. I just couldn't believe my eyes rewatching this episode now. When I was young, I just accepted the voice as Veronica Taylor, never perturbed at all by her performance. However, now with some experience in acting, I learned how reek of delivery some of these voice actors did after the shift in cast members. Same thing happened for Nurse Joy in this episode. The moment she appeared to our heroes, she was totally chill, leaping in the air with her vehicle, throwing caution in the wind.
Interesting, and what of the supporting cast?
I thought they were fine for the purpose they had, being the ones with brains to know what Grovyle was going through. They didn't sound off, which was a blessing for me since this episode reminded me of how awkward a dub can be in the wrong hands.
Well, to more plot-related elements, I'd like to highlight how we were given different examples of affection here. We have the obvious subject of the episode with Grovyle's attraction to Meganium. Now I gotta say, looking back, this was doomed from the start. Grovyle's love was infatuous at best. This kind of progression is something that only works for Disney princesses, and even they're taking strides in a different direction. It was all founded on superficial traits and some pride. Meganium and Tropius, on the other hand, show a love that seems to have taken its time to blossom forth. From the beginning, it would seem they've known each other for some time. They actually understand each other. It's nothing too complex, but it feels very natural.
For Grovyle, upon seeing the happy couple, Team Rocket is proving to be a high annoyance to him, so he decides to use all of his remaining strength to evolve into Sceptile. Now, with the promise of a fully evolved starter in the horizon, we were excited to see the King of the Jungle bring out his A-game. But what did we receive?
A heaping pile of awkward disappointment. To briefly run over my feelings with the topic, please take a moment with this.
Grovyle. Why wasn't Grovyle a grass/fighting type? He sure as heck looks like he could have made the cut. My love for this woodgecko stems highly from his in-show interpretation. He was sly, he was cool, he always had Ash's back, he was never afraid of a challenge, he was totally murdered! Why the Tropius? How could you do this? How could something so beautiful do something so terrible? Never forget. Never forget!
Holy shit! We'll always love you. I can't believe you did this to me, goddammit! How could you do this to me?
This wasn't a favorable depiction of one of the Hoenn starter's final forms. Already, Grovyle was disadvantaged from the two due to being the only single-type Pokemon from the trio. But this solely the image of Sceptile for a lot of viewers, until he eventually regained his skills later in Battle Frontier. Evolution, which usually signified great things, was slapped back by Team Rocket of all things.
Yeah, not a great first impression. It wasn't until Omega Ruby until the evolution really grew on me either.
Well, I believe it's time to do our final thoughts on this episode.
Alright. This episode is about as slice of life as you can get in Pokemon, and it can be broken down to some pretty touching bases as we demonstrated, but as much as the revelations torture me, it's a memorable episode, and one I can come back to for one reason or another.
For me, this trip down memory lane was a rude awakening. I never knew why people hated the new voice for Ash upon Season 9, but I can now see somewhat where they were coming from with this episode's performance. The two central human characters, Ash and Nurse Joy, were not projecting their voices at all during any of the scenes. It would leave a bad taste of a facade of a love story for Grovyle, and left us wondering what was going to happen to Sceptile now that he isn't useful despite evolving. The ending helps this episode gain a mid-tier rating from me.
Well said. Now if you'll excuse me, there's some discount chocolate to eat.
Not so fast, girlfriend! We should start planning where we should go on our first date!
You can't be serious.
This time of year hurts me the most, and by having you, can life in these moments be bearable?
Charging.
What are you doing?
I'm charging.
Oh no!
Solar beam.
No!
Charged.
No, 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 no!
So it seems the trainer has become the trainer.
Wait, what?
A power struggle quickly resolved. What will become of our fair Bayleef Blossom as she ventures forward with her burnt ponytail? Will it be fame or fortune? Why not both? Tune in next time for the marvelous adventures of Princess Heather Blossom!